So another day, another Switch 2 rumor leaks its way onto the internet. And the only reason I'm making this video is because I actually did a little bit of research in it. I feel like you're going to be seeing videos about this all day. Maybe some people will wait till tomorrow, but this is something that a lot of people have been wondering about the upcoming system. Of course, Nate the Hate said there's the potential for a March reveal for it, and I guess we don't have to wait too long to sort of clarify these sort of situations. But one thing that is a hot topic when it comes to the Switch 2, one of the features that everyone wants to have, a big feature, admittedly, is of course backwards compatibility. They want to be able to use their standard Nintendo Switch cartridges on their next generation Nintendo platform. I think it's a reasonable thing. Just from my perspective, I wasn't quite sure that it was going to be an absolute thing because a lot of companies are making good money, remastering stuff. And when you look at Nintendo Switch's best-selling game, that's a Wii U game that's gotten a lot of DLC and a lot of additional content that they could essentially repackage at 4K 60 frames per second with all of the DLC included and probably sell it for 60 or 70 bucks and make a bunch of money and get a bunch of sales. But when it comes to backwards compatibility, there hasn't really been much until allegedly yesterday. A story came out late on Saturday night that, like I said, everyone's going to be talking about this, but I did my research, so my video is better than theirs. This information is coming to us from a Spanish-speaking website. I think they're Brazilian. I don't think they speak Spanish in Brazil. I think they speak Brazilian. Look, I'm just an uncultured white dude at the end of the day. Universo Nintendo says the following. One of the topics of the greatest doubt among current Nintendo consumers and even enthusiasts curious about their next hardware is the question of compatibility with Nintendo Switch games on the new console. Awaited as a potential 2024 release by Nintendo, the next system could come with the encouraging news that it will feature this physical in cartridges and digital backwards compatibility, not only to players and producers, but would also allow developers to study improvements for the current titles in the Nintendo Switch library. PH Brazil is currently a content creator and also a games journalist who has brought a lot of information about Nintendo or partners' movements in advance with precision in the past. Taking its history into account, there is a high chance that this information will become fact when the console is announced. Nintendo does not comment on rumors, and there is no announcement regarding the new hardware so far. Stay tuned for new news. So there's a lot to unpack there. Obviously, like I said, people want backwards compatibility with this system, and they want it with their physical games. They want it with their digital game. A lot of people are buying digital on the Nintendo Switch simply because of the fact that they have those vouchers that you can get, where you can get two games for, you essentially save like 10 bucks on them by purchasing two of them through the Switch's eShop. I have a vast, ridiculous library of digital downloads, whether they were digital exclusive games or games I bought on sale or review codes and stuff like that. And I wouldn't mind going back to my Nintendo Switch to play them, but if this is a bigger and better screen, yes, it's allegedly LCD, but that's not the end of the world because not all LCD screens are made equal. I would like to revisit some of these games, but I think the more interesting thing is that developers can have improvements for current titles in the Nintendo Switch library. So essentially to enhance games that are currently available on the standard Nintendo Switch that we have right now. Now, of course, going back to the Gamescom rumor situation, we have the whole thing about Breath of the Wild allegedly running at 4K 60 or close to it. And a lot of people were wondering, well, is that like an enhanced edition of the game that's going to be re-released by Nintendo with, I guess, maybe the DLC packed in already? Or is that going to be something like a free update? I think free updates are cool. I would rather do a free update or even, one of those $10 incremental upgrades for a game than have to repurchase the game all over again. I'm just a little hesitant to think that that's the route Nintendo is going to go because while that's very pro-consumer, this is a business. And businesses like to make money. So, it's very interesting stuff here. But PH Brazil, according to this, like I said, PH Brazil is currently a content creator and also a games journalist who has brought a lot of information about Nintendo's or partners' movements in advance with precision in the past. Now, is that actually true though? Because I feel like most people that are making the video on this today, that's all they're doing. They are looking at the headline, they are looking at the information, and then they're running with it, saying, "Oh yeah, PH Brazil. Who doesn't know about PH Brazil?" Well, I decided to dig around with PH Brazil and some of their talking points. So for 2021, the Nintendo Switch, according to PH Brazil, was allegedly doing a Fire Emblem remake, a new Splatoon game, and Breath of the Wild 2, and a Metroid game. Now, of course, there's some questions with that. Obviously, some of these games didn't come out in 2021. Some of them did. So is that, enough to be, against this person? Because some people were reporting it as Metroid Prime 4 as something that was going to be coming in 2021. And obviously we're in 2024, pal, and that's not happening at all. I'm not saying that this person is necessarily right. I'm not saying that this person is necessarily wrong, but the problem is to take this at face value when there isn't really precision used in some of these things. Like, I feel like we're using the term precision a little bit willy-nilly here. Splatoon 3, that didn't come out until 2022. So what was actually right about this? What was actually like the correct games that ended up coming out in this time frame? Now, obviously, COVID impacts things like that, so I understand why things could have been shifted a little bit. But this tweet was made on December 31st of 2020, allegedly providing this information about these games coming out in 2021. So were they really right about that? I don't think so, but maybe you think differently. All I'm saying is this is not confirmation of anything. We won't truly know the confirmation until we see the system itself, until Nintendo comes out with some sort of event, some sort of presentation, or some sort of information saying, hey, yes, your games, as far as backwards compatibility, not just Nintendo Switch Online with your Nintendo account, will also indeed transfer over to our next generation hardware. And I think many people would be very happy with that. My fear is that people are just going to take this at face value. They're not going to dig around. They're just going to assume, oh yeah, PH Brazil, he's leaked everything. And it's like, has he really though? No disrespect or anything like that, but you got to be a little bit analytical with some of this stuff, or else we end up with situations like we did with Xbox. And what if people do take this as a fact and then Nintendo decides, hey, this system's not going to have backwards compatibility. It never was going to have backwards compatibility. Then you kind of build up some false hopes about things. But these are just my opinions on it. I'm not trying to discredit this man or anything like that. I'm sure he's gotten some other stuff right. I just looked around at what I could find as far as his leaks and stuff were concerned, and that was the stuff I came up with. You could believe him. You could think that he's just talking out his ass. That's neither here nor there. It's just a discussion at the end of the day, though. So what do you think about this? Are you expecting the system to have backwards compatibility? If so, do you think it's going to be for physical and digital? And if so, is there a second cartridge slot, or is it going to use the same cartridge style and then, just bigger? And then how would the digital stuff work? I guess it would be tied to your account. And then are those games going to be enhanced for free, allegedly? Like, it sounds too good to be true. So I'm going to say it might be too good to be true. Let me know what you think about everything in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. I've given up on Streamlabs OBS for the audio. I have moved over to a different program. So, yeah, I'll just figure it out whenever I decide to get back on camera. I'm just tired of being on camera for a little bit. But I'll be back on camera soon. There's nothing weird going on or anything like that. But this new audio program seems to be a lot easier. And I'm looking at the timeline, and there's no issues of crackling. So, see, I do try here, people. I do try. And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.